As the heat of the summer begins to dissipate, so does the heat of the stars. October of 2025 really astrologically can feel like a breath of fresh air after a very intense eclipse season. So in today's video, let's dive into the stars of October of 2025 and how they're going to affect all of us. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabel, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we're talking about the astrology of October of 2025. This is the general summary of some of the major planets, transits, and themes that are going on in the month of October of 2025. So if you're looking for an overview into the stars of October of 2025, watch today's video. And at the end, I will summarize the general themes that I see coming up once we go through all the major planetary transits. And of course, if you're looking for more personalized guidance to how exactly October of 2025 is going to affect you, then there are three things I invite you to do. One is check out your October of 2025 horoscope that I published on my channel, where you can read it or listen to your sun, your moon, and or your rising sign horoscope. Secondarily, join my email list where I give deeper forecasts and deeper interpretations with more key summaries straight to your email inbox, so then you're not having to screenshot these videos. And three, book a reading where in 1 hour we can dive deep into the astrology of October and how it's going to affect you based off of your unique birth chart. Sky's the limit with these readings. If you're looking for your interpretation and personalized horoscope for the month ahead, readings are for you. Learn more about readings down below. Now, I think this is a record short intro that I've ever done, or at least done in a long time. So let's get straight into the astrology of October, because there's quite a bit happening. And I'm going to again cover, because of that, a lot of data. There's going to be a lot of astrology lingo, a lot of details that can frankly feel overwhelming. So I invite you to listen and take things with a grain of salt and let your intuition pick up on whatever transit seems to resonate more for you, because that could be your soul saying that this is something it wants to note more. You may not want to take into account every single transit I mention, and I try to simplify this information as much as possible, but there's only so much you can do. So if you get overwhelmed by the transits, do take these transits and note them with a grain of salt. Let your intuition guide you a bit. And of course, check out the summary, and you can check it out now using the timestamp down below to just jump to the general consensus into what October is all about. Let's get into it. So per usual, let's start off with talking about the sun. Now, I like to remind people that wherever the sun transits, that's what's in our growing season. Just as we have growing seasons for plants, fruits, vegetables, etc., we also have growing seasons for each area of our life and how we can nurture certain themes. So October always represents a time to grow and nurture themes of balance, harmony, bliss, ease, connection, and understanding, as well as in the second half of the month, depth, connection, immersion, intimacy, obsession, investigation, because every October we have the sun in Libra and then the sun in Scorpio. So these two energies of these two archetypes, this really represents a time of year where we start to prioritize the other, and we start to prioritize more connection in a certain area of our life. Now, of course, depending on what house Libra and Scorpio are, according to your sun, moon, and rising, is going to change where you're seeking this connection. But overall, October represents a time of year where we're slowing down our pace of life and connecting more deeply with other people in balanced, harmonious ways. I think it's so hilarious because, we think of fall, and often the phrase comes up, at least on my social medias, of cuffing season. Fall begins cuffing season, where you're trying to find your partner before the holidays come up. And it's no surprise that this synchronistically aligns with Libra season. Libra represents connection. It's the first archetype we interact with where we connect with the other. In the first 6 zodiac signs, we're building the self, and now we build the relationship with another. When we hit Scorpio, that's where we deepen the relationship. So overall, the month of October does bring this major priority, major theme to our relationship with connection. And you can learn more how exactly that's showing up for you in your monthly forecast for your sign. Throughout the month, the sun makes a few different aspects to a few different planets. I'm not going to touch on the moon ones because I'm going to save all the moon aspects for the next segment. But the sun in Libra on the 17th will square Jupiter in Cancer. And with this square throughout the month, we have quite a few different squares happening to Jupiter because of this Libra energy. Simply put, as a general consensus, and I'm going to touch on Jupiter now with this, even though it's a bit out of order, is that we are prioritizing connection over nurturance. It's an interesting dynamic to have this Libra energy present this entire month and squaring Cancerian energy, especially because Cancer and Leo can oftentimes get confusing in their themes. They feel very similar to us in modern day society. Cancer represents emotional acceptance, emotional security, emotional support, feeling safe with other people, feeling supported, feeling nurtured, nurturing other people in return. It represents this maternal relationship, which oftentimes the line between this more maternal energy relationship gets blurred with this Libra energy relationship in modern day world. Libra represents seeing two people as an equal, hence why it's the scales, seeing people in balance, in equality, in equilibrium. We are still understanding, but from a more neutral, objective point of view, as if we're reading a book and connecting to the characters in the book, rather than Cancer where it's we are needing the mother. So it's almost like this neediness energy. So with Jupiter and Cancer this year and still present in the sign in October, Jupiter in Cancer calls us to expand our capacity to receive emotional nurturance and support. But it can feel like this desire is a bit on pause in the month of October because of all the Libra energy we have present, forming a square to Cancer. Now, this doesn't mean you can't pursue this desire. If anything, you could play out the other way around, where maybe you feel like aligning with this nurturing energy, the supportive energy is easy, but to create connection and understanding is harder. Whenever we have a square, it's an idea that I like to explain, simply put, is we have two people standing on two sides of a corner or two sides of a street. Two streets, and the only way for them to meet is by meeting in the middle. They cannot see eye to eye until they do so. And so we are really being called to compare the difference between wanting relational dynamics where we're emotionally supported and relational dynamics where we feel understood and equal. Additionally, this could be highlighting the need to observe the difference between following our heart versus neutrality. Libra is a very neutral air sign. It looks at the world and others with a bit of distance, detachment, observation, neutrality, diplomacy, mediation, fairness. Whereas Cancer tends to take things very personally, hence why we have the stereotype that Cancers are very sensitive. And so with this square this entire month as one of the major themes for October, it's very important to identify those differences in Cancer and versus Libra energy in your life. Looking to the houses that Cancer and Libra are for you could be helpful in that interpretation. But I would simply ask yourselves throughout this month and observe when you experience conflicting dynamics between wanting to be supported versus wanting to be an equal as a general theme. So the Sun and Jupiter form quite a few standoffs throughout the month that highlight our relationship to connection. And overall, the Sun's transits indicate that this month we are pursuing connection. This is our season for connection. Now, additionally, I say that this month can feel like a breath of fresh air, especially because last month we had eclipse season. Eclipse season heavily ties the Sun and Moon's journey together and says that our emotions feel a great weight. Normally, full and new moons can already be a pretty intense time for us in those 7-day periods, but it can feel like this entire month was very emotionally challenging, the month of September, because of these eclipses. And now, the reason I say this month can feel like a breath of fresh air is because the moon does quite a few positive aspects throughout the month. So I will put over the screen the list of transits, but you will see it says Moon in Aquarius trine, 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 conjunct, trine, one square, sextile, sextile, trine, conjunct, sextile, square, square, trine. And so this is just my personal interpretation. This can be pretty normal. The moon does move very fast and does quite a few aspects every single month. But what I personally saw when I was doing this interpretation for the month ahead is emotional bliss, emotional harmony. The fact that the moon is forming so many back-to-back positive trine aspects to Libra energy, Scorpio energy, Cancer, Virgo, Pisces. This tells me that this month can feel like emotional bliss. And so I'm not going to break down what every single one of these means because that would take forever. I will cover them more, what each one means, in my weekly forecasts. But overall, a theme that we can expect all collectively in the month of October as each individual is feeling this sense that our emotions are on the same page as our communication. Our emotions are in alignment with our actions. Our emotions feel at a harmonious place that brings self-confidence. Our emotions align with our desire for nurturance. Our emotions align to bring us deeper connection. Given that I'm seeing dominantly, even as I'm reading this, that this has so much to do with Libra, Scorpio, and Cancer energies at first glance, I really interpret this as our ability to connect with others is really highlighted this month in harmonious ways by, in a sense, really wearing our heart on our sleeve. This doesn't mean we emotionally dump on people, but we can feel like we're coming from an emotionally healed and whole place this month. And I think this really synchronistically aligns with the energies we've had over eclipse season, because really eclipse season can feel like a time where there is major emotional transformation. And so with all these positive moon aspects in the month of October, we can feel like we're being rewarded for the growth work we have done in feeling in a state of emotional ease, whether that's our emotions being in a more detached state, in a more deep harmonious state, in a more intellectual state, in a more passionate state. My recommendation with all these trines in general and these positive moon aspects is really following your heart this month. As cheesy as it sounds, the fact that I'm seeing, for example, moon in Aquarius trine, moon in Aquarius trine, moon in Pisces trine, moon in Taurus trine, this reminds us that we have an emotionally changing state. Our emotions are never constant, just as the phases of the moon are always changing. And even if we have a grounded earth sign moon, how our emotions are being digested, received, all depends on our reality, our perception, our thoughts. So it's this very changing state, just as the ocean is a changing state. And so I'd recommend that you this month prioritize following those emotional waves, those emotional tides. The more you flow with your feelings and honor whatever your emotional state is feeling like every day, the more I would see reaping benefit this month in October of 2025 astrologically. Now, Mercury in the month of October of 2025 transits really two major signs, but we can say three. In the first 6 days of the month, Mercury is still in Libra. From the 6th to the 29th, Mercury is in Scorpio. And from the 29th onward, Mercury is in Sagittarius. This represents a progression of thought process, as Mercury's transits always do, of let me now put my mental focus to connection, let me deepen that connection, and let me expand my vision. So in the first, I would say 29 days of the month, majority of the month, to paint with a broad brush, our mental focus is channeled towards connection and both understanding others and deepening our understanding with them. Scorpio Libra energy together creates this dynamic, when combined, of how can I understand you objectively, and now how can I deepen my understanding? How can I be neutral and fair, and how can I be vulnerable? So with Mercury and Scorpio and in Libra, we can feel this energy for the majority of the month of October of wanting to channel our mental energy and communication energies to deeper conversations, to deeper connection, to more connection, and also maybe even deepening our investigations with the things we love. Throughout the month, I do see, once again, Mercury is squaring Jupiter in Cancer. Additionally, Mercury is going to be in Scorpio for the majority of the month and square Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to conjunct Mars in Scorpio, and the moon's going to conjunct Mercury in Scorpio. Mercury in Scorpio will trine Jupiter in Cancer. Mercury in Scorpio will trine Neptune in Pisces. And then when Mercury enters Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius will oppose Uranus in Gemini, and then sextile Pluto in Aquarius. So what I see throughout this month is that, Pluto is doing some interesting transits. We'll get to that in a minute. Actually, we'll just touch on it together. Pluto goes direct this month in the sign of Aquarius, which has been long awaited, and I'll have a video coming out hopefully about this. But Pluto represents our deep healing transformational journey, whereas Mercury kind of represents our more objective communication style, seeing things, treating things a bit more simply. It's not that we are never capable of deep thought. After all, Mercury and Scorpio wants investigation and immersion, but Mercury is our more daily thought patterns in a sense. What I see with these different aspects going on with Mercury this month is that our main goal is to use our communication in service of creating and cultivating deeper connection, understanding others, making them feel accepted, welcome, and free to be vulnerable. But we may have some momentary triggers of wounds and moments that trigger transformation as well. I believe these are going to be transits that I cover more on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to leave it at that for Mercury and for Pluto. Pluto is, in the end, with it moving forward, moving our transformation journey forward, and we can start to gain clarity on things that we have previously tried to heal but have been stuck on. Venus will transit Virgo in the first 12 to 13 days of the month. And this is really the key part I'm just going to touch on with Venus, is that with Venus in the sign where the South Node currently is, as Venus is in Virgo and the South Node is in Virgo, we can expect that not only are we getting this breath of fresh air from leaving behind eclipse season, positive moon aspects, but we're also refining what security and stability means to us and finding more value in that. So refining your stability and asking yourself what really makes me feel stable, what really makes me feel grounded, can be very rewarding and something you're already innately focused on in the month of October. Then on the 13th, roughly, I believe, Venus is going to enter Libra, which is one of its 2 home signs, which means that we're going to feel, just simply put, a very positive, natural energy. If you have a natal Venus in Libra placement, you're having your Venus return, which happens annually, and this can feel extra harmonious. If you have any major Libra placements, you'll also feel this harmoniously. But with Venus in Libra, we can expect to be feeling the love for elegance, the love for harmony, the love for connection, the love for ease and peace. And so we can feel that not only are these other transits creating this sense of breath of fresh air, but Venus in Libra brings us a value and a love for life through harmony, bliss, and lighthearted connection. We can feel like there's a weight being lifted off as Venus enters its air sign Libra. And additionally, to touch on Mars in this segment as well, Mars is going to be hanging out in the sign of Scorpio the entire month, which means that we're taking on a more deep connection-oriented approach to life and our actions. We can feel like while we have all this harmonious energy, lighthearted energy this month, promoting connection, we're also wanting to deepen these connections and be more invested in things in the month of October. Mars in Scorpio craves intensity and depth with their life, and so we can expect that in the month of October with Mars here. And of course, final note that I will make for transits in the month of October, the North Node is still in Pisces, South Node is still in Virgo, Black Moon Lilith is here as well. These are 3 planets, the endpoints that I touch on in your sign's horoscope for the month of October, but just in your horoscope for the month. I will not touch on those more today because the more personalized interpretation is going to be better. So what is overall the core energy of October? I want to give you your final quick key takeaway. If you happen to skip through all the data or got overwhelmed, this is what you should keep in mind and know what is coming up in October of 2025 astrologically. We're all thinking about the month of October. This is our reminder to follow our bliss and to seek connection from a fearless yet intentional standpoint. We are called to push our potential to connect with others by being both objective and subjective at the same time. Throughout this month, you can expect to feel an intense energy of harmony and emotional connection. Following your heart and emotions and honoring your ever-changing emotional state can be extremely rewarding in the month of October. And to invest your time into the people and things you're passionate about and love and care about is the most rewarding this month. This month reminds us that both depth and harmony can be attained at the same time. To navigate cultivating closeness in a way that promotes harmony with our own soul, and how we can balance these very deep traits of immersion, codependency, trust, vulnerability with a lighthearted connection, open-mindedness, and fairness to all. Simply put, in other words, we have dominant Libra Scorpio energies present, and in my view, very positive aspects happening throughout the month to the moon. So we can expect to be really playing with the idea of being in our own emotional alignment and how we can create good things in our life off of that. Overall, too, leaving behind the energies of eclipse season means that we are feeling lighter by the day. And so October is your month to feel light. And, I picture it like feeling like those leaves falling down as we enter fall. How can you just let yourself surrender into the goodness, surrender into the positive energy? in the end, if I was going to give one major piece of advice for this month ahead, based off of the astrology of the month, is follow your bliss. Maybe it can be just that simple. So let me know down in the comments below, what is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign? Did this video help you understand what may be coming up in the month of October? Did it leave you overwhelmed, underwhelmed, confused, clear? What really stuck with you? What do you have more questions about? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos, because this is a general overview into the month of October astrologically, but every Sunday I publish a weekly forecast where I go deeper into what exact aspects are coming up to help you understand what these aspects mean, and also, most importantly, what you're meant to do and think about with these energies. So if you want further contemplation prompts, journal prompts, action guidance, reminders, advice, stay tuned on my channel where I share weekly forecasts as well as your sign's horoscope every single month. And you can also join my newsletter where I send weekly and monthly forecasts as a general consensus for each week astrologically and each month, as well as exclusive deals and questions. I would love for you to join the email list because I am wanting to experiment with new ways to serve you guys, including maybe more detailed horoscopes that are available for purchase, or personalized video horoscopes, or even full moon and new moon circles. But to talk about it all on YouTube feels very unclear. And so my email list is where I get more honest and ask you guys more direct questions to hear your direct feedback. And so if you'd like to be a part of that group and stay updated on the latest offerings that I'm giving, then I invite you to join that newsletter. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sincerely hope you enjoyed. Once again, my name's Isabel. From my heart to yours, namaste.